So you want to apply for a green card through marriage. Well, you've come to the right video. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. But first, just a quick note. Everything I say is just based on our personal experience and is not to be taken as legal advice. If you need legal advice, consult an attorney. If you want to see how we did it, this is the video for you. Right? So the first thing, you're going to need to fill out 2 G325A forms. And here's what that means. One of them is going to be filled out by the US citizen. It's just a bunch of biographical information showing like employment history and living history pretty much. And the resident alien to be is going to be filling out 1 G325A as well. So that's 2 G325As. Biographical information. And that form looks like this. G325A biographical information. One of them to be completed by the US citizen, one of them to be completed by the resident alien to be. Okay? Next one. You're going to need to fill out a G1145. This is going to be the receipt of electronic communication, and it's going to be filled out by the US citizen. So in that case, I'm the one that filled it out. I'm the US citizen. I'm going to be the one that's receiving all of the electronic communication on behalf of this whole application process. And this here, this is the e-notification of application petition acceptance, G1145. That's the next form you're going to fill out. Okay, so now we're up to 3 forms. G325A filled by US citizen, G325A filled by the resident alien to be, G1145 electronics communication. Next one, I-130. And what this is this is going to be filled out by the US citizen. It's going to be a petition. It's going to need to have these documents, so pay very close attention. It's going to need to have US citizen's birth certificate, the marriage certificate of you and your spouse. It needs to have the passport photos of you and your spouse. It needs to have a photo of each of you, so me and then my wife. It needs to have the completed and signed G325A, hint hint from earlier, 2 G325As. That's going to be part of this I-130. Next one, you're going to have a document showing the joint ownership of property. And this means like joint bank accounts, joint utility bills, anywhere where your spouse is listed as a beneficiary on the US citizen's behalf. So things like life insurance, health insurance, combine the names together, make sure it's on official documents. That's what you need. This is the I-130 I'm talking about. The petition for alien relative. Right? I hope I'm making sense so far. Next one, you're going to need to have the I-134. That is the affidavit of support. And basically what this says is, I, US citizen, am able to sponsor my spouse through this whole application process. I make this amount of income and I am not in poverty or anything. I'm able to complete this whole process end to end just fine. That's basically what I-134 is. It's going to be filled out by the US citizen. That form looks like this. I-134, affidavit of support. All right, so my spouse and I had an interesting situation because as she was going to get her green card, we were actually going to visit her home country, which is Indonesia. So we had to fill out this form. It is called the I-131. That's the travel document. This one is going to be filled by the spouse, not the US citizen, the spouse. And what this does is it allows her or him, whoever it is, to travel abroad while still under the application process. They're going to give you a permit saying, yes, you can leave the country, and then yes, you can come back. And that I-131 looks like this. I-131 application for travel document. Okay, next one. This is going to be a very important part. This is the adjustment of status application. This is the I-485. And the I-485 is the application to register permanent residence or adjust status. This is going to be filled out by the resident alien, not the US citizen, so it's going to have her name on it. And this one was a whole bunch of documents. I'm going to show you what this form looks like. So like this, you can see my wife's name is there. Information about the one that's adjusting the status, that's her. And then, since she's coming in as a spouse, she's going to fill out this box right here, this checkbox. And then the rest of it is pretty much showing information about the US citizen and then the spouse. So make sure you read everything thoroughly, fill it all out. Okay, so I-485 filled by spouse, the resident alien, not the US citizen. Make sense? Good. Next one, I-693. This is an interesting one because you actually have to go to a physician and get a health examination and all appropriate shots. So some people come out of the country, they don't have a full immunization record, so you have to have your immunization record. You got to bring that to a doctor. They have to give you all the shots. They have to make sure you're good in your medical examination, and they have to fill out a report saying, yes, this person is okay to be in the country. So I-693, we had to go to a doctor. The medical examination was $300, and we had to show her immunization record and all that stuff. Doctor had to sign off on it, and then we filled out this form. This is the I-693 report of medical examination and vaccination record. Okay? All right, hope you're with me so far. Next one is going to be the I-765. This is the application for employment authorization. So even though you're adjusting your status, you got to make sure that you're able to work. I-765 is the document that's going to grant you that access. It is also called the Employment Authorization Document, EAD, filled by spouse. So she fills it out. I, US citizen, do not fill it out. I-765 looks like this. I-765 application for employment authorization. And then I am applying for permission to accept employment. Okay, next one is going to be I-864. This is also an affidavit of support. So earlier you filled out an affidavit of support called I-134. You're gonna have to fill another one out called I-864. And this one, you're gonna have to have 3 W-2 forms. 1, 2, 3, 2016, 2015, 2014, etc. 3 years of that. You're going to need to have a letter of employment verification from your company's human resources as the US citizen. You're going to need to have bank account printouts showing that the checks are actually coming into your bank account, showing that you can actually support this your spouse who's coming into the country. And you're going to have copies of at least 2 pay stubs. So if you have 2 in 1 month, show those. So once again, 3 W-2 forms, letter of employment verification from HR, bank account printouts showing the transactions in your bank account, and then 2 pay stubs. And the affidavit of support looks like this. And once again, it is filled out by the US citizen. So basis of applying affidavit of support, I am the petitioner, and then the principal immigrant is going to be your spouse's information, and then fill the rest out. All right. Those are the forms that you have to fill out. G325A, 2 of those. G1145, filled out by the citizen. I-130, filled out by the citizen. I-131, travel document that's filled out by spouse only if you're planning to travel outside the country during this whole thing. I-485, filled out by spouse. I-693 filled out by the spouse plus the doctor, I-765, the application for employment authorization, EAD, filled out by spouse, the I-864 affidavit of support filled out by the U.S. citizen. All right, those are all the forms that you're going to need to have ready and all put together nicely for USCIS. All right, so now we need to talk about some of these supporting documents. And make sure you have a cover page showing the checklist of every single document that you have inside this package. You're going to need to have the birth certificate, and if it's in a different language, you need to have an official translated copy. You're going to need to throw in the I-9 in there for the resident alien that's going to be coming in, your spouse. You need to have your marriage certificate copy in there. You need to have any receipts, like a ring or a trip that you took your spouse on if you went around the world. Put those in there. You need to have pictures like travels that you and your spouse had together. Those are very helpful in building a case. And the whole idea of this is you want to build a case that's compelling enough for USCIS to say, yes, give them the okay, give them their green card, they're all good. Right? So USCIS forms, supporting documents. I talked about the medical examination already, that's the I-693. Now we're going to talk about the part where you mail all your documents. So you filled out all these forms, you lined up all of your supporting documentation. Now you're going to need to do this. Get a 9x12 manila envelope. These are like the orangish color, large paper size. So they're about the size of a magazine. You need to put your cover letter in there, which is your checklist of all the documents that you have filled out, plus supporting documents. Just make sure you have them all listed out. Easy for USCIS to reference. You need to ensure that this is registered and tracked mail. You don't want important documents like this to get lost in the mail. And then you're going to mail it. This is the parts where I'm going to talk through timelines and the different things that we encountered. Okay, so I'm going to put a link for the USCIS processing times, but depending on where you live, it's going to affect how long it takes to get your green card. If you're in the Midwest, probably takes about 3 months from end to end. But if you live in like Las Vegas, it's going to take you up to a full year to do it, so plan accordingly. Okay? What's going to happen is once you mail your document, it's going to arrive and you're going to get a USCIS notification. And that's going to happen about 2 weeks after the application is received by the USCIS. They're going to cash out your check. You're going to receive a notification by mail saying all of this is good. They're going to give you a biometrics appointment in which you're going to have to attend. That's going to be about 1 month in. Your case is going to have the interview scheduled. That happened 2 months for us, 2 months after we mailed it. The interview was scheduled. The interview actually happened 3 months. Wait, April. Yeah, 3 months after we mailed it in. Our card was approved right after that, and then we actually received the green card 101 days after mailing the initial documents to USCIS. So that is what happens. Now, on the marriage interview side, given that you and your spouse have been together long enough, you should already know things about your spouse, like what her favorite things are, travels that you've been through together, things that you've done. These are very important. All you have to do is just be a human about everything that you've done. I've told USCIS about all the travels. We went to Iceland, we went to New York, we're huge travel bugs, etc. Very important, you build that compelling case and then really show them that you are the true husband and wife that you are. So that's pretty much what I want to talk through. Complete your forms, put that feed together, put all your supporting documents together, get that medical examination, mail all your documents, wait a bit, ensure you're getting notifications, follow up if necessary, And other than that, up until the interview, I really wish you luck. And I really hope that this video helped and works out for you. Feel free to ask me any questions below if you have any questions. And that's pretty much it. Good luck and hope you have a nice day. Thank you very much. Bye.